Hello. Hello. It is the end of June. No, it's not. It's the end of May. Uh, Today is May 31st. It's a Tuesday night. Life is good. I took a solo trip. I went solo traveling, and I'm really proud of myself for doing it because it's very much outside of my comfort zone to leave my safe space, as in my room. I think that also comes from how I was raised, or the environment in which I was raised, or the headspace in which I was raised, all of it. But I've always found so much safety and security in my room, and it's just so easy to be here. But last weekend, I made a plan and I said, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to go by myself. I'm going to enjoy myself and go by myself. Because I guess I've done it before, kind of. Like, I've made trips to go see someone or to spend time with someone. Like, when I was in Cape Town, I planned a trip to go to Joburg and then Durban to see people that I liked and I missed. But this was more like touristy. I said, okay, I'm going to go see this thing, and I had a deadline because Japan opens up on the 10th. So the major tourist attractions, or yeah, cultural icons, I wanted to see before then. So I went, I did the thing, and I had fun by myself. A few weeks ago, I had to work through an insecurity. Um, and it's an insecurity that has been festering since my adolescence. Mm, my lab is mostly foreigners, and not Americans and not Australians. Like everyone is not Japanese, and English is definitely not their dominant language. But everyone operates in English. So essentially, everyone in my lab has their mother tongue, and then they speak English to a high enough degree that they can do graduate school in English. And sometimes during the lab meetings, I think, wow, I'm in a room full of people who are so smart that they can explain themselves in a different language. I don't think people understand how hard it is to explain your discipline in a language that you are not 100% comfortable with. I feel like I can only be smart in English. I feel like, ugh, and it makes me feel so gross. It's a stupid measuring stick, but it's an insecurity I've had since I was a child, growing up in a fairly multilingual household. I really wanted to articulate myself really well in English because I felt like I could never do that in a different language. And so the one language that I have to be able to use to the fullest of my capacity. But being able to do what my colleagues do in English, in French, or in Japanese, I don't think, what is that even? Like, everyone in my lab actually speaks three languages because everyone speaks English, and then everyone has their home language, and then some people have two home languages, and then some people get by with Japanese along with English to varying degrees. And as a native English speaker, there's so much privilege. Ugh. I wish I was forced to learn English like everyone else. Not that I wish that like I didn't speak English, but I wish that English wasn't my first language because I think I would prefer to have accented English and like a fluent mother tongue than non-accented English and no fluent like no fluency in any other languages. True fluency. If my capacity to express myself is monolingual in a multilingual world, do I really have the capacity to express myself? Is the conclusion I came to. I'm still wrestling with it. I think that's why I'm so hell bent on learning as much Japanese as I can. But even then, I could be doing so much more. I should be doing so much more. I don't know what I'm trying to prove or who I'm trying to prove it to, but there's something there that I need to dig up. Sometimes I think, I can do this. I can learn Japanese. I can learn Japanese and express myself. I can do this. And then sometimes I think, really? 絶対に無理. But it's only May 31st. Mm. I think I made my Japanese teacher mad today because I refused to not leave on time. Um, Sometimes I really wonder about that Japanese class. I like having the class. I like that I have other students to speak to that are also learning Japanese and we can speak sort of slowly. I like having a professor that I can ask direct questions to. I like having the structure of a class. But each class is an hour and a half and it's two classes back to back. And there's not enough content for that much time. And a lot of it feels like a waste of time. And I know it's not, but I also know that I could mow through these example problems so much faster by myself. I know that I could study better in a different way and not in this sort of one person answer a question at a time. The one Japanese course I took in Toronto was so much more engaging, I think. Then again, my memory is garbage. I feel like it was more engaging. I feel like we went through the material more thoroughly. I felt like the professor gave us a lot more supplementary material that added to the book instead of just reciting the book, which is what I feel like our professors are doing in Japan. Like, we're using the same textbook. In Toronto, we used the first one because that's the level that we were at, and now we're using the next one. But my professor in Toronto, my Japanese professor in Toronto, gave us in his slides so much more information, so much more context, so many more different examples. He really pushed us. And I think I might have taken it for granted because my Japanese professors in Japan essentially read to me the book, and I've done that. I can do that. The book is the Genki series is really made for self study. Like, it's really easy to understand, and it's really straightforward. And I like that about the book. I wish I could find that kind of textbook in French. Mm. So in the lecture, I was hoping for more supplementary material, but they just regurgitate the textbook. And I listened to a YouTuber who goes through the textbook before class. I have an hour-long ride to school, and during that hour, I listen to his podcast or his YouTube video, which is about an hour, and it goes through the chapter. And he gives examples, and he gives context. So I go to class with an understanding of what we're going to learn because I sort of already pre-reviewed. So like a mini lecture before class, and like I sit in class for, the Japanese professor to tell me things. But yeah, the class is about 4 hours, and by the, I want to say, third hour, I'm thinking, what are we still doing here? Can we just go home? We're not doing anything new or interesting or substantial in any way. We're just reviewing the same examples over and over again. And it would be one thing if we were able to use the examples in different contexts, but we just do the book questions. And the book questions have no application to real life, especially since we're all graduate students. It would make so much more sense if she made us make sentences that make sense within our respective departments or within our respective lives. But they don't. And it's really hard to step out of the textbook discussions because they stick so aggressively to the textbook, except for one professor. So I have 3 Japanese professors. One of them, and she's my favorite, gives us a lot more flexibility and will go off topic and talk about different things and how to make different kinds of sentences or how to combine grammar points to make more complex sentences, which is the point. Like, if we're learning all of these sort of rudimentary grammar points, but there's never a point in time in which they push us to combine them or to make something new or just to test different sentence structures. We just learn the structures that are in the book, and we essentially memorize the examples that are in the book. And it's not really practical for real life use. So today, she had us doing like group conversations, like in groups of 3, and my group was not being very engaging. They were mostly speaking in English, and it's like their energy was sort of uncomfortable and a little all over the place, and I couldn't really focus on what they were saying, and I don't think they really cared to be there either. And 4:30 was coming. My bus home leaves at 4:40. It takes about 8 minutes to walk to the bus stop from this class. So 4:30 hit. She hadn't wrapped up class or anything. We were still in these group conversations. I saw 4:30. I packed up my bag. I said, Sensei, I have to go. And then I left. And she stopped me at the door. And she said, oh, are you okay? And I said, and I looked at her and I was like, you see the time. It's 4:30. I have to go. And then I left. And I'm not upset about it. I'm so glad I left. Ah, but separate from my annoyance with Japanese class, life has been really pleasant. Maybe not completely pleasant, but it's not bad. I still haven't found an apartment. Mm, but I am thoroughly enjoying Uji, particularly the sky. I spend a lot of time photographing the sky in Uji. Sometimes the sunsets are violent and like dipped in crimson, and sometimes they're, I don't know, pretty in pastel. I know that when I move to Kyoto, if I move to Kyoto, when I move to Kyoto, that I won't have a view of not a building. I will not have a view of not a building. Um, and right now I have such a fantastic view of everything. And so while I'm here, I'm going to take as many videos of the sky as I possibly can so that when I'm not here, I don't regret not doing it. I still don't have any Japanese friends, but I have some really, 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 really great friendships here that are very young and and I don't want to rely too much on them, but I also feel like being a maximalist and enjoying my friendships here for as long as they last. I've had so many friendships come and go, people move in and out of my life, that I feel like I'm kind of numb to it, I guess immune to the sharpness of changing friendships. So now I just want to enjoy the people that I have around me as much as I can without necessarily burdening them with my existence. Let's hang out all the time. Um, but I know that this time is sort of ephemeral. I really don't know how long I'll be here. Like I have plans, kind of loose, very loose plans that are held together by rubber bands and duct tape. Um, but I don't actually know how long I'll be here. I don't know how long the universe will let me be here. I don't know when a wind will take me somewhere else. But it's been 2 months, and I remember thinking in month one, I really feel comfortable in a way that I wasn't necessarily comfortable in Canada. And the insecurities I felt in Canada around my friendships or my existence there, I don't have here. And I'm more of a foreigner here than I was there. Um, but I hold it. I stick by that. As of today, I really enjoy my life here. As annoying as it is, as stupid as the banking is, ugh, as dumb, capital D dumb as the banking is, how casual but also not aggressive discrimination is. I really can't find an apartment because I don't have a Japanese passport. And it's not violent. It's just like summer has come. It is hot. Hot, hot. Hot, hot. So hot. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, it's so hot. Apart from that, and not having Japanese friends, and like, it's okay, I don't have Japanese friends, so what? I have friends. And friends are friends. Like, who's qualifying friendships? I'm happy. I'm happy. I have hiccups every day. Since I've landed, I've had hiccups every day. I think people think I'm broken. Like I think people think that that's just how I exist. I just have hiccups, or maybe no one has noticed that I have hiccups every day. Maybe that's just purely a me thing. I have hiccups every day. I think it's an altitude thing. Anyway, ah, yeah. This week is going to be good. This week has already been good, and it's only Tuesday, and Wednesday's going to be good, and Thursday's going to be good. Friday's going to be good. Saturday's going to be good. Every day is good, and I'm figuring it out.